There is a land hidden between Rome and Tuscany. It's a beautiful land. Of course, I'm a little biased. I'm from there. And now that I'm far away and it's Christmas, man, I miss it so much. Let me look for some friendly face. Giulia, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Giulia,
And you
I miss Viterbo and Tuscia tremendously under the Christmas holiday. How was your
Yeah.
holiday? How was your Christmas?
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, here Christmas has a particular flavor, not just because the lights all around the small villages that turn us in beautiful fairy tale villages, but also because we have so many products that we share just during Christmas time. Panettone, torrone, many different sweets and
Oh,
cakes.
don't tell me, don't tell me. I miss all of them.
Yeah. Maybe I gain, I don't know, a couple of kilos. Yeah.
You are always beautiful, Giulia. Well, Giulia, I have to thank you today again because you introduced me to two very, very, very special people. And we're going to bring them online and we're going to let them speak because their story is at least fascinating. Carlton Shannon, hi, how are you guys?
Hey, good, good. Good to see you. Thank you.
Okay, you guys look like actors from some kind of very old-fashioned show. So
we're famous.
You have to tell us who you guys are.
Yeah. We're very famous. Well, first of all, my name is Carlton, but I've learned in Italy nobody can say Carlton. It's way too hard to say. So now I'm Carlo Antonio or Carlo. You can call me Carlo.
Carlo Antonio, pretty good. Very good.
I'm Shannon. Hi, nice to see you.
Shannon, are you the girlfriend or the lover of Carlton?
Maybe both.
All.
We've been married for 35 years.
Oh, congratulations. This is fantastic.
A month ago today.
Yeah.
A month ago, yeah. Our 35th anniversary was a month ago today.
November 29th.
Yes.
Oh, what did you celebrate it?
Well, basically, we were just down in Italy-Tuscia in Tuscia this week, and we kind of celebrated a bit then. So that was nice.
Fantastic. Let's circle back to Tuscia later. So we really would like for you guys to share your personal story. It's fascinating. I heard bits and bits. So please take your time and tell us, both of you guys.
Great. Well, we'll go back and forth, and please feel free to interrupt us as we go. So we are Americans. I grew up in the U.S. and I lived in the U.S. until I was 28 or something like that. However, Shannon did not grow up in the U.S.
I grew up in Australia, although I'm also American. So, but we've lived outside the U.S. For a long time. So I've spent more of my life outside the U.S. than in it, even though I'm American.
We call her a quasi-Aussie.
So, yeah, we moved to Europe in 1992. We lived 10 years in France, and then we moved
in the Geneva area.
Yes, but on the French side, and then we moved back to the U.S. for 2 years, and then 17 and a half years ago we moved to Belgium. So
Make sure you get the half. The half is
So we've been in Belgium for quite a long time.
Yeah. So we are Americans who have lived a lot of our lives in Europe. We have 2 children, and they were born in the U.S., but one of our daughter lives here in Brussels with us, and our son lives in Tennessee. But one thing that we had done very little of in our almost 30 years in Brussels, in Europe, is visit Italy.
That's true.
Strangely.
Shame on you.
I know.
More strange because one of our best family holidays when our kids were little was in Italy. It was in a little town near Piombino, just in
Suvereto.
Suvereto. It was a little hilltop town. We spent 10 days there, and it was our best family holiday ever.
But other than that, we went to Rome, of course. We went to
Florence.
We went to Venice. But we spent a lot of time in other European countries, but very little time in Italy. So if I should continue, should I continue?
Before you go, so what do you do in Brussels?
Oh, yeah, good question. We work in nonprofit associations. We lead several nonprofit projects. Like, for instance, we have a multicultural church community here in Brussels that we lead. Brussels is a fascinating city that it's actually the second most multicultural city in the world after Dubai. So we love, like trying to be a church community with that sort of mix of people. And out of that, we then started a volunteer movement that's active in about 100 cities around the world called Serve the City. And it's about trying to mobilize the everyday person as a volunteer. The idea, our elevator pitch is, a lot of people know there are needs near them and they maybe would like to be involved, but they don't know where to start. So we're the people that help them get started.
That is fantastic. Congratulations. You guys should feel very good about it.
Well, it is a pleasure. It's a privilege.
It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get a little closer to home. So at some point, you guys decided, in the unfortunate event of death, you will have a scene that will never be erased, right? Forgotten, because you have to go to Italy, right? So what happened?
Well, we were in 2020, right after we'd had the major lockdown in March and April and May, and in fact we'd gotten stuck in the United States for several weeks, so like 7 weeks.
Although don't tell her parents, we stayed with her parents, so we weren't stuck. Great time in the U.S.
But when we came back, we were here for a couple months and working online and whatever, and summer rolled around and some of the things opened up a little more, and Carlton said, we could kind of take a holiday and work a little bit, but we could do this from anywhere. So let's stay somewhere nicer than where we are. Let's go somewhere. So let's go south.
So I put a dollar amount like per month. This is what we want to pay. And I just looked at Airbnb. So I looked in Spain, Portugal, Italy, France. I looked at hundreds of properties. And go ahead.
But the first property he showed me was in Tuscia. It was in a little tiny town called Rocolvece. And I had 2 requests for where we stayed. One was that it would have air conditioning, and the other was that it would have a pool, because I had been having some joint problems and needed to do some physical therapy in a pool. So those were the 2 things. So those were the parameters. And the first place he showed me, I said, that I want to go there. That looks really good. Let's go there. But he kept looking.
Just to be sure.
Yeah. Okay, so he had all these little tabs open on his computer, looking at all these Airbnb properties.
But finally, Tuscia called us.
Yes, so we kept going back, saying that one, let's go there. That looks really nice, and that's where we went.
And then so we drove. It's like 15 hours drive from Brussels, and so we arrived in this hilltop town of Rocolvece, and we met the people who own the Airbnb where we stayed. Turned out they were Americans. That was a surprise to us. She's American and he's Italian American, and they lived in Rome for a while, and now they live in a nearby town to Rocolvece called San Angelo, and they were so nice. Warm and friendly. And in fact, the very first night when she was checking us into the Airbnb, she said, property in this village costs about 25,000, maybe 30,000. And we started to think, oh, I see. Those stories of people buying property in Italy that didn't cost very much started spinning in our heads. But I mean, some of those I don't love because the village is there's really nothing there, or I don't know. It feels like greed somehow. But this wasn't free. It's not the $1 story, but we did start to think, oh, what if we could buy something here?
And we kept making friends. So our Airbnb hosts, I think the third night we were there, they invited us out for drinks with some Swedish friends of theirs. So we went out for drinks with them and ended up going out to dinner with them at a nice restaurant.
They gave us the best view.
Yeah, so we, suddenly we're making friends there. And
you might have heard about Italian food. It's pretty good.
Yes. That was the first time we tried cingale. In pappardelle alla cingale with
pappardelle cinghiale. Yep,
that's it. That's what we tried. Yes, that's right. So we ate the local fauna.
It's a beautiful local wine.
And so cingale, or in case you don't know, are the wild boars that roam around the area, and we have seen quite a lot of them actually, and also porcupines in that area. So that's very interesting.
We haven't eaten them though.
No, we haven't eaten the porcupines. We just drunk wine that has porcupines on it.
Oh, that's true. There's a local winemaker
that uses
Motura, Sergio Motura.
Yes. We also met the person who owned the pool that we were swimming in, which was Giovan Giorgio, the count who owned,
Yes.
Yes, who owns Costa Gudi, who owns the castle in the town of Roccolvece.
They've owned that castle for 400 years.
Can you believe it?
Family, yeah, yeah.
That is amazing, huh?
It's amazing, and they've renovated it. So it's, in fact,
There
just
it
this
is,
past.
yeah.
Oh yeah, beautiful, well done. Just this past weekend, there was a wedding there. So we, it's people from Rome or something, and they came up, and there were 80 of them who stayed overnight at a beautiful. So you can see the Catholic church there, right there in the corner. So they had the wedding there, and then they had the dinner at the castle. People stayed in the castle, and I think this is where we start to have a vision for the village of, like, what if the whole village were working together, for that couple? Like, what if somebody was preparing the flowers and somebody else prepared the food? But it would just be fun to see the village come back to life in that way.
Because actually, in the old town, in the Borgo Medievale, there's something like 38 people living there.
Well, now 36 actually, because two of this past.
But
no, literally.
But
now we're 37,
but
38.
But we're 37, 38. So we bump the numbers back up. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's so you can see where Maria Pia lives and where Ivana lives, and they keep adding little creative elements to that little corner of Roccolvece. It's so beautiful.
And Ivana makes very good limoncello, and Maria Pia makes amazing biscotti. And I have begged lessons from both of them when we come back.
One thing that's funny for us in our contrast between our Brussels life and our Roccolvece life is we live a very punctual life in Brussels. Not that Belgians are known so much for being on time, but you do things on a certain time schedule, right? Well, we've learned in Roccolvece, like, if we want to go anywhere by a certain time, we have to leave like a solid half an hour early. Right? Because we're just, buongiorno, ciao. Just like takes time and we don't even speak Italian, and it takes half an hour.
So let me stop you just a second. Julia, I think next episode we just let them do, we just take a break, right? They're so good at this.
Yes.
So let me say two things. One, I want to say hi to Germania Giuliani. She is conducting for us La Via dei Piccoli Artisti. It's an art exhibit in the center of Viterbo where young artists like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old go there and perform for the public with music and stuff. It's fantastic. And on top of that, we have an association called La Via degli Artisti. We have a bunch of painting and stuff. So it's a nice spot. If you guys go back before the 9th of January, please stop by. And so I want to say hi to Germana. But I want to make a little summary of what you just told us. Small place, very friendly people, delicious food, incredible human connection. And this brings me to Julia. Julia, you have the dream come true for us. The perfect people that create human connection wherever they go. Please take it away. Ask them some questions.
Yes, first of all, I want to share with you all that I wrote also an article about Roccolvece, and if people are curious about Roccolvece and want to discover more, there is also a nice video that I created with Sigfrido Juniorove, our project Tuscia, and in the video there is Giovan Giorgio Costa Gudi, and so it is nice to see it also because it is translated also in English. And so I feel really blessed. I met Carlton and Shannon, and somehow I think I attracted them in my life because I really needed this kind of relationship. And particularly because they love Tuscia, they love small villages, and they have this kind of love that want to create something for these villages they are visiting, particularly in Roccolvece, because they have such beautiful, great projects. So my question is, you opened a website with beautiful pictures and videos that Annie, your daughter, with Nicholas, her boyfriend, created. They are artists in many directions. A singer and a photographer and a video maker, and they have a very different, really, gift Yes, and you created this beautiful website, and now everybody can go in this website and discover something about Roccavecchia. But the main reason why you wanted to open it is because you would like to create a new community in this small village, because it is almost abandoned, and we don't want this village become a ghost town. We want this village to become again a place so peaceful but also beautiful to live, and so we want to create a new economy, maybe some artists, some shops that can be opened, and things like that. So my question is, so how do you think we can create this and we can pursue this dream that I embrace totally?
Stop, don't answer first. First, we have a different question, very quick, I hope, for you guys. Are you guys ready? How was the cinghiale? How was it served from your friend Teal?
This is our friend Teal. Hey, Teal. He also came in.
It was with the pappardelle, which is the big egg noodles that are very wide, and it was in a it was very simple. It was with spices and in a very light sauce and onions, I think. And yeah, it was very good. It was very, but it was very simple.
So do you guys suggest Teal to come and join you guys next time you're in Tuscia?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And that was at a restaurant called San Rocco, which is in Cileno.
Cileno, that's right. Borgo Fantasma. Yes.
Yeah. And we know the owner of that restaurant. He's just great. I can't remember his name right now, but yeah.
He is a beautiful young man, right?
Yeah. Really successful, really inspiring. Yeah.
So
and that restaurant has this amazing view over the valley,
Oh yeah. I am actually looking for a picture of Borgo Fantasma. I will show in a little bit. So why don't you guys go ahead and answer Julia's question?
Julia's question. Yeah, great. Yeah, Julia, that was so well said. I'm nodding my head off over there on all those things that you were talking about. And we also love so much our connection with you. And we find in you and also in Giulio and in others, this let's call it strange attraction between Italians and Americans. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure what that's all about, but I love it. It's fun. We've lived in Europe for a long time, as I mentioned. And I think most of the time we would have found being an American a disadvantage, a disadvantage that we didn't mind trying to work through. But we're not waving American flags over here. We're not wearing T-shirts that say "proud to be an American."
Certainly not in France.
But somehow when we arrive in Italy, we do feel a warm welcome. We feel embraced as Americans. So that's great. Now I can start speaking like a country hick and. We feel loved and accepted, and we can be ourselves, and that's what we're hoping for. So I think with a village like Roccavecchia, one thing we have a vision for is a mix of cultures, and I think that would be good for Roccavecchia, or I think it would be good for Tuscia, and I think it would be good for foreigners that, like Shannon mentioned, we have American friends, we have Swedish friends, we have Finnish friends, we have, friends from a number of different cultures that are there now in Tuscia. But then also we have Italian friends. Marco is a dear friend of ours. Cinzia is a dear friend of ours, and our next door neighbors. And this is us struggling with Italian. People are so open and winsome. Like, one thing we find about Italians, at least the ones we've met, is that they just don't accept that we don't understand them. Like, that's just not something they're willing to accept. So they just keep talking, and eventually, we do understand them. It's a great way for them to be patient with us and help us to learn our way into
Carlton, you made me think of a little anecdote. My mom came to visit me in Los Angeles many times. She doesn't speak any English, and honestly, I would let her be with my friends, one-on-one, two-on-one, whatever. She would be perfectly fine. They would understand her. But one day, to give her the complete picture, I made a reservation on some kind of Hollywood show. And we went to this show, and we were sitting in the audience, just to give my mom a little treat. So this guy, I didn't know this guy during the breaks come up and plays with everybody, right? When he figured that my mom was Italian and wouldn't speak, oh my God, he had a field day, right? So he made my mom stand up. They had a conversation. Again, my mama doesn't speak. They understood each other in front of 500 people. They danced a little bit.
Wow.
That was amazing, amazing. So, but this brings me to the follow-up question, if you don't mind. So we agree. Julia is the first one that looks for the human connection. You guys are a dream come true. Okay, now we have to make it happen. How do we sell it? What do you guys think is the pitch? What do you think? Let's start with Shannon this time. Shannon, what do you think is the pitch?
Well, to be honest, I think a lot of people are looking for something very authentic. You know, a lot of people have been to places that are very touristy. I think of some places that we've been, we always look for this no matter where we go. I mean, I can think of, we went to Mallorca one time, and we ended up in a tiny little fishing village instead of in the main town or the tourist towns. And that was great. You know, and other places that we go, we look for this. And I think, you know, people are looking for authenticity, and not everybody's looking for go, 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 and whatever. So going to Roccolvecchia, of course, I told you I had to do physical therapy because I was very slow. I had some joint problems, so I was not fast. For that month that we stayed there, we spent some days that we toured, and we spent some days that we just kind of hung around and went to the pool and bought great food from the grocery store that we wouldn't have gotten at home, and fixed it and, you know, ate it there. And it was wonderful. So there was this slow and very authentic way of being in a very natural setting. We live in a city. We live in a big city. One of the things I love about Roccolvecchia is as soon as I come there, I can hear birds. There are just birds, 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 everywhere birds. When we go in the summer, the swallows are there, and you can just hear them screaming all over the place. They're just, it's wonderful. I have now my binoculars in our apartment in Roccolvecchia, so I can watch the birds. But there's just this sense of nature and slow and authentic that I think is true a lot in Tuscia. You know, it's not touristy. And yet there are things to see and do that are pretty amazing that any tourist would want to see and do.
Julia, I'm falling in love with these two people. So, Carlton, same question for you. What's the pitch? How do we get them to come?
I think we get them to come for a week, you know, or 2 weeks, or I mean, you mentioned this yesterday in our conversation. I think everybody wants to come to Italy. Everybody wants to spend some time in Italy. They maybe think they want to go to Rome. You know, they think they want to go to the big cities. So if we provide some opportunities for them to get off the beaten track, I think people would say, "Oh, yes, thank you so much," because that's actually what I want. I just don't know how to create that experience. But Julia does. She has connections all over Tuscia, and we can get people out on Lake Bolsena, you know, for just like a very nice lake ride, end up at a restaurant on the lake. We can take people to the Monster Park, you know, walk around for an hour and see these enormous stones that have been turned into works of art. We can walk through the streets of Viterbo, something like this. But I think like Shannon said, this appeal of something slow, you know, something that alters the pace that we're used to living our lives at. Remember at the beginning of COVID, we all said, oh, you know, one benefit of this is that we did all need to slow down, right? How long did that last? Not very long. Now we're impatient again. So I think that is one of the advantages of getting people out to Tuscia.
Well, Julia and I and another bunch of people are working on something called Tuscia in Fiore. There is a festival called San Pellegrino Fiore that is specific for a little area of Viterbo, very little, the medieval part. And it has been going on for 4 decades. And we thought we could present the whole Tuscia, so the whole area, in a month-long region-wide festival where the dichotomy of the local stone and the flowers exalt each other and make it an attractive moment. And as you say, maybe a week, maybe more, You can certainly go to Rome one day. You can certainly go to Florence one day if you want. If you want. And as you said, Julia is available to organize the plan, to help, to take people around. Right, Julia?
Yes, I am. Of course. It's my pleasure. It's my passion. And I do
I
love
want
doing
to
that.
speak on something Carlton said, and you show me over the years. So there is this fascination from our side for Americans. What is particularly for you? What's that?
I love the mindset, you know. I love the way they can create amazing things in their lives so easily because they are easygoing. I don't know how to explain. In Italy, we have too much bureaucracy, and everything is very difficult to organize. In America, if you have an idea, you have a chance to make that idea something concrete. So this is something that I really love. What do you think about that, Carlton? So last day we were talking about a very great idea Carlton and Shannon had, and they tried to explain me that, and they showed me a video, and that was an amazing idea. But I was so, really sad because I had to really kill the idea because that was not possible in Italy because we have too many rules, restrictions. And so, okay, I love America because it's a country where you have a chance to create something, to put into work your passion. And also, I love the way they interact with other people, the sense of community, the idea that when you donate to the community, actually you are just returning what you got from the community. And I love this idea.
Yeah.
And there are yes, many things. For instance, I regularly study on my own through podcasts Americans' spiritual guides. I love listening to them, and what I am part is I build myself, I mean, a piece of myself, just listening to these amazing people that are sharing on the internet their thoughts, their tips, their vision of the life, of the world, and also spiritual concepts that I really embrace and that are giving so much to my life. I mean,
Julia, can I? So this is what I'm taking from our conversation, where the Americans are like Carlton and Shannon, always cool, always take it easy. Italians tend to be a little bit snobbish, and despite the fact that United States is ahead of the game, is the #1 democracy in the world, the science and everything you can imagine, you guys stay very cool. That's the word, right? So we love it. We love it. In Italy, we keep saying lei, instead of you, because of some kind of funky respect, which I know where it comes from, but I find it very stupid, and I lost it because I've been living in America for 30 years. But
I noticed that you lost it. I noticed.
So, but Julia is the example. You see, she can interact with any American that comes. One of them could easily be Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah,
and he wouldn't do anything differently. He would go like, whoa, Rockabilly, this is cool, right? Do you guys agree with this?
Absolutely. But you know what? I think about Americans. I mean, I appreciate your point that we have this kind of can-do attitude, and we have some rules, but we don't have so many rules, and we find a way, and creative, that sort of thing. I love all that, but we work too hard.
Yes,
that's true.
Why do we do all that? So that we can work some more. And why? So that we can work some more. But Italians know how to rest, know how to have fun, know how to be with their family.
Know how to sit.
And that's why you got like us. That's why you like us.
Yeah, I mean it's laughable how fast we were talking actually with Julia and Luca about Thanksgiving. That as special a celebration as this is for Americans, you can spend 2 days preparing the Thanksgiving meal, and it can be over in 30 minutes.
Yes.
No?
Yes. That's true.
That
crazy.
is not true for
So-
for a.
In
If you had
Italy,
Thanksgiving in Italy, it would take 8 hours.
and the lunch for Christmas never ends.
No, exactly.
Never ends.
So that's where I think the combination is. It's one
By
of
the way, talking about lunch, this is the comment of Theo for your description of pappardelle. So, if you guys don't mind, I would love to show a video that you are so kind to prepare for Rocca al Vece, because again, I find fascinating and honestly, like very warm, very close to my heart, the attitude of trying to bring value to what you guys experience and find in Viterbo. And if you don't mind, I would like to show this video that again is very nice. It's from your website. Maybe a little later you guys can tell us a little more about your website, but let's go for it.
Yep. We'll read the part.
Please.
Rocca al Vece for us is like a child that we see through the eyes of
Lots of exciting things to see and do. It's perhaps unspeakable to the old days of most cultural.
It would be nice if we could better at this program.
I found the magic place. If you're searching for a magic place, Tuscia and Rocca al Vece and the surroundings are perfect.
This is amazing. You guys are fantastic. Wow. Tell us a little bit about your website, please.
Yes. So our daughter Ani wrote every word on the website, and we're so proud of her for that, because not only did she come and visit us in Rocca al Vece and want to express our heart, but it's now also her heart. And her boyfriend at the time, Nico, also came, and he's an amazing photographer. So they did a great job, and they went around. We have another video on the website we would encourage people to watch. It's a little bit longer, maybe 4 minutes. It's the one on the Vision tab. But there, they went around.
What's the website?
Oh yeah, thank you. It's roccarevival.com. ROCCA revival.com. And our that just represents our heart to see the village come back to life. And I think we feel safe in saying that because it's not just our idea. It's also the idea of Giovan Giorgio. You'll see him on the video. It's the idea of Marco. It's the idea of Cencia. It's the idea of, all the friends that we've met to see Rocca al Vece come back to life. So we're just trying to join that, basically, is the idea. So the website is an attempt to invite people to visit, to purchase something like we've done. We now own an apartment in Rocca al Vece, so we can help people purchase an apartment. Eventually, we want to have many projects in Rocca al Vece. We've been talking with friends about starting a cafe and a bar, a community center. We can imagine a day, for instance, on a Saturday where the village is just open and people wander through the village and somebody serves them some limoncello, somebody, pours their best olive oil out, somebody has some pasta waiting for them, there's a community pizza oven, it's just like experience. And I remember when I was talking to Giovan Giorgio about this, he said, authentic Italian experience. That's the kind of, we just want to open the village up for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, just one question. I know Rocca al Vece is very special, but if you don't mind, I would like to hear Shannon comment on something else I'm gonna show. Okay, you guys told me that you know Andrea that works there. So where are we here, Shannon?
Oh, this is a Chileno. Yes. The Borgo. Yes, that's right. It was a ghost town, but now it's coming back to life as well. It's got a lot more people living in it than Rocca al Vece does. And in fact, we also own a piece of land in the Chileno, in Chileno.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
So you can, from this view, from almost this point here, you can actually look down into the valley and you can see our land with its little cottage on it. So we have a apartment in the Borgo Medievale of Roccoveche, but then a piece of land that's on the white road in between the two towns of Celleno and Roccoveche. So
Did
yes.
I mention that you guys, that we love you guys? Okay, Carlton, this is for you. Where are we?
Oh yeah, so that's San Angelo. So there are 3 villages that are quite close to each other. If you walk on these white roads, these Strada Bianca, it just takes you maybe 20 minutes to walk from village to village. But there's Celleno, then there's Roccoveche in the middle, and then San Angelo. And in San Angelo, people in the village decided, actually, what do we have here to work with? You know, they don't have a castle, they don't have a count, you know, like Roccoveche does, but they decided to paint the outsides of their walls like fairy tales. So now there's probably 50 homes that have fairy tales painted on the outside of their walls. So they'll have hundreds of people in the summer just taking their kids around and looking at the fairy tales painted on the walls.
Hey, guys, somebody is telling you something. Till again, just an observation. Rocca Revival seems to be an ultimate extension of Serve the City. Yeah.
Yeah, way to go, Teal. Thanks for dropping that in there. Serve the City is the NGO we lead, and one aspect of Serve the City is called neighborhood transformation.
Yeah.
So we want to engage, we want everybody around the world where they live to engage with their neighbors in a way that brings about transformation in people and place. And exactly those are the ideas that inspire us as we engage in Roccoveche.
So I don't know what I believe. It's kind of a complicated statement, but I think the universe is bringing us together. What do you guys feel?
I like it. I feel that too. I definitely feel that. In fact, it's actually surprising to me because, you know, I'm an American. I confess, I work pretty hard at a lot of different projects, and the amount of, let's just say, momentum that we feel in our Italian adventures is completely outsized compared to, you know, the amount of effort we normally put into things. So it does feel blessed. You know, it feels like there's favor. And so we join you in that observation.
Well, if I can elaborate a little bit, you know, of course, the human component, you know, Giulia, you guys make the difference, obviously, but the size of Tuscia, it's so small. Viterbo, 50,000 people. The old Tuscia, 300,000, maybe less. It's not even a little neighbor in Rome, right?
Yeah.
And there is so much to see and do, like Shannon was saying before, right? You can go to the lake, you can do to all these castles and so forth. Like within almost a mile from where you guys live in Roccoveche, there is Borgo Fantasma, there is Sant'Angelo di Roccoveche, right? So our size is small enough that a plan can be carried on, not too much stress, and at the same time, one person, in this case, Giulia, and or you guys, can actually make a difference. We go to Rome, we are no one. 5 million people, crazy, garbage everywhere, right? We cannot do anything. But in a small place, we can make a difference. Do you guys agree with that?
I like it. That's really well said.
I do agree.
Yeah.
And okay, so we told each other to say half hour on. It has been 40 minutes.
Yeah,
that's a good sign. And I certainly want to thank Till, and maybe we can have him on board the next week.
There you go.
One thing, before you guys go, you have to promise you're going to come back.
We promise.
Sure,
we're
problem.
with you.
Very, very good. Giulia, you see, we got special people. Thank you very much, Giulia.
Oh, thank you, Shannon.
Well,
yes.
In the month of April, every weekend, at least 1 or 2 villages will go in flower, meaning there will be a bunch of fun things to do. Everything in Shannon's timing, slow, enjoying food, coffee, limoncello, chatting, getting to know this and that person, and looking around. And actually also a treasure hunt. So everything is done with the phone. You look with the phone at some QR code, and then it tells you where to go to do a treasure hunt. And if you follow the treasure hunt, you discover every single corner of the place, as well as you get a little gift at the end, $15 to spend in a restaurant or something, right? Right? That's pretty cool, right?
That's pretty cool. I love it.
So that would be in English and Italian, of course. And we were discussing before, maybe we will have the pleasure to host a little something from your kid.
Yes, our daughter. She's has a beautiful voice and has a very special musical genre, let's call it, where she records on a loop station her own voice, times 10 or something. Anyway, it's beautiful. So yes, that would be amazing.
We look forward. We certainly look forward. Okay, I always say goodbye with the last request/comment. So one thing that came to your mind, but you didn't have a chance to say, this is your opportunity. Let's start with Carlton. So Carlton, last comment?
Well, my last comment is that today we drove 10 hours from Italy back to Brussels. So we're in Brussels now, happy to be home, but looking forward to our next visit back to Tuscia.
Very good. Shannon, your turn.
I would just like to say that I think this is, for me, a kind of a dream come true. Many years ago, we talked about, I also am a writer, and we talked about, wouldn't it be nice when we're older, we buy some kind of writing cabin somewhere in a place that's very inspiring. And but I never really thought it would happen. And here we are. We not only have a little cabin in the fields, in the campagna, but we also have this apartment in the village, and a great place to be inspired. So I'm really.
Did I hear a book is coming up based on Tuscia?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Very, very good. Giulia, my dear, your last comment.
Yes, my last comment is that Carlton, Shannon, and we love so much Tuscia that we are inviting people to come and visit. And for this reason, we are working on creating beautiful experiences and adventures to share with them. So very soon we will have something to show, even online, to invite people to come here. And so it's beautiful because I'm Italian, they are American, but somehow I think they are a bit Italian too, and I'm a bit American too. So we are the perfect connection to invite people from the United States, of course, but from all around the world, people who want to come. We will be very happy to welcome them and to make them experience Tuscia, the authentic parts of Italy that will be in their heart forever.
Till already agreed the next time, so we're good to go. I thank my guest. Thank you, Giulia. I wish everybody the greatest new year, of course, in Tuscia and Tuscia in Fiore, April 2022. And now I'm gonna leave everybody, and bye-bye, guys.
Bye, Till. Thank you, Till, for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Regista, com'è andata oggi?
Bene, benissimo, come sempre. Ci vediamo alla prossima, Giulio.
Dalla Tuscia